The more-than-human world includes all these levels of consciousness. In lifting our attention from the earth to the sky, the most important of all the celestial bodies is the sun. The sun sustains all life on earth. If we take panpsychism seriously, then new questions inevitably arise. Is the sun alive? Is it conscious? The conscious sun. As soon as you ask if the sun is conscious, you realize that you are violating a scientific taboo, the purpose of which is to stop us taking seriously what our ancestors believed. Throughout most of human history, most people thought of the sun as conscious. For some, like the Indians and classical Greeks, the sun was a god. For others, like the Japanese, a goddess. In Northern Europe, the sun was also a goddess. In Latvian and Lithuanian mythology, she was called Saule. This mythological background is reflected in the gender of words for sun. In Germanic languages, she is feminine. In modern German, die Sonne. In Southern European mythology and in Latin-based languages, he is masculine. In modern French, le soleil. Children implicitly think the sun is conscious and draw it with a smiley face. From the modern materialist point of view, the fact that people all over the world thought of the sun as alive, divine, and conscious disqualifies this idea from serious consideration. It is nothing but a childish superstition, an animistic projection of human emotions onto inanimate objects. The fact that children think this way merely proves the point. Nevertheless, since the early 20th century, there has been an extraordinary rise of an unconscious sun-worshipping cult, the basis of a multi-billion-dollar tourist industry. Sun-drenched beaches have become mass tourist resorts, and people who go there are often called sun worshippers. This aspect of modern life happens on holidays and at weekends. It is part of the romantic side of our cultural divide. The doctrine that the sun is unconscious has been built into science since the 17th century. The philosopher René Descartes defined matter as unconscious. He separated off consciousness into the realm of spirit, which he defined as immaterial. The immaterial realm consisted of God, angels, and human minds. Everything else in nature, including the sun, the stars, the planets, the earth, all animals and human bodies, was mechanical and unconscious. The sun and other stars were unconscious by definition, and from a scientific point of view, they have remained so ever since. But if the universe is more like an organism than a machine, then so is our galaxy, and so is our sun. The sun has highly complex patterns of electromagnetic activity within it and on its surface. Its patterns of activity are much vaster and more complex than the electromagnetic activity in our brains. Most scientists believe that the electromagnetic activity within our brains is the interface between body and mind. Likewise, the complex electromagnetic patterns of activity in and around the sun could be the interface between its body and its mind. Maybe the sun is conscious, and physical aspects of its mental activity are measurable, just as electrical patterns of activity in brains are measurable. I cannot prove that the sun is conscious, but a skeptic cannot prove that it is unconscious. From a non-dogmatic point of view, the consciousness of the sun is an open question. This question leads to more questions. If the sun is conscious, why not all stars? And if stars are conscious, then what about entire galaxies? Galaxies are complex electromagnetic systems with vast electrical currents flowing through the plasma of the galactic arms, linked to magnetic lines of force millions of light-years long. The galactic center may be like the brain of the galaxy, and the stars like cells in the body of the galaxy. There may be a vast galactic mind, far exceeding the scope of our sun's more limited mind, with vast electromagnetic extensions of its activity passing through the spiral galactic arms. In 1997, I helped to organize a symposium called Is the Sun Conscious? At Hazelwood House in Devon over the summer solstice. We assembled a small group of people, including a cosmologist, a physicist, an expert on mythology, an Indian philosopher, and some psychologists. On the summer solstice itself, 21st of June, we got up early and went to watch the sun rise over Dartmoor. It was cloudy and raining until the moment of sunrise, when the sun broke through the clouds and a perfect rainbow appeared behind us. If the sun is conscious, then what does it think about? What kinds of decisions can it make? We thought that one group of decisions might concern its wider body, the solar system. The sun's light permeates the solar system, and so does the solar wind, energetic streams of particles moving outwards from the sun. Fluctuations in solar activity change the intensity of the solar wind. They influence the northern and southern lights. They affect the ionosphere and radio transmissions, and they modulate the frequency of lightning. When intense bursts of solar activity are pointed towards the Earth, the huge outpourings of charged particles can cause power outages and catastrophic breakdowns of electromagnetic technologies. The American Space Agency, NASA, issues regular space weather forecasts so that we have some warning of solar events that affect our life on Earth. If the sun is conscious and has control over its body, it could modulate the entire solar system, including life on Earth, by choosing when and where to fire off solar flares and coronal mass ejections. The sun could, if it wanted, close down our technologies by an ejection directed towards the Earth, causing enormous power outages. We have set up long-distance power transmission systems like the British National Grid, which can act like aerials for these solar pulses. A major outburst of solar activity could melt down transformers, and entire power grids would fail. They might take months to repair. The sun also modulates life on Earth more subtly, including influences from its 11-year cycles in which sunspot activity rises and falls, and the magnetic poles of the sun reverse. The sun might also be concerned about its own peer group, the other stars within our galaxy, the Milky Way. We know almost nothing about interstellar communication or in what way the entire galaxy modulates the stars. But this is another realm in which the sun's consciousness is likely to come into play. We do not know what level of consciousness the sun has. Is it only about its own bodily functioning? Or is it more like a mind that knows what is going on within the solar system, including what we ourselves are doing right now? Perhaps the sun can sense directly what is happening on Earth through the electromagnetic field. The electrical changes in our radio and TV transmissions, in our mobile phones and computers, in our brains, and throughout our bodies are all within the electromagnetic field of the Earth, which is embedded within the electromagnetic field of the sun, the ambient field in which everything on Earth happens. If the sun's mind can sense what is happening through this field, then it could know what is happening on Earth and everywhere else in the solar system. Can we communicate with the sun? Certainly many people worship the sun and make offerings and prayers to the sun, either in its own right or as a channel of God's light, or as both. Among the practices of yoga is Surya Namaskar, salutation to the sun. I've done this practice almost every morning for more than 40 years, which is one of the reasons I'm so interested in the sun. Another Indian solar practice is the Gayatri mantra, which I have often chanted, a prayer for the divine light of the sun to illuminate our meditation. From a spiritual point of view, the light of the sun is the light of the spirit, which shines through the sun and all other stars. Except at sunrise and sunset, or seen through a light-absorbing barrier, this light dazzles and overpowers us. According to many spiritual writers, including St. Anselm, 1033 to 1109, the Son is like God, and God is like the Son.
Truly, O Lord, this is the unapproachable light in which thou dwellest. For truly there is nothing else which can penetrate this light, that it may see thee there. My understanding cannot reach that light, for it shines too bright. It does not comprehend it, nor does the eye of my soul endure to gaze upon it long. It is dazzled by the brightness, it is overcome by the greatness, it is overwhelmed by the infinity, it is dazzled by the largeness of the light.
Our new situation. We are in an unprecedented situation. The withdrawal of God, consciousness, and purpose from the universe of mechanistic science has been accompanied by a vast expansion of our vision of nature in space and time, from the fleeting appearance of evanescent subatomic particles in the Large Hadron Collider to the discovery of trillions of galaxies beyond our own in a universe that has been evolving for more than 13 billion years. Now, with the re-emergence of panpsychism, this vastly expanded universe can take on a new life and meaning. Our direct experience of non-human nature can again lead us beyond our limited selves to a direct connection with the more-than-human world and the more-than-human consciousness that underlies it. But before reaching for distant galaxies or the ultramicroscopic, it is best to start nearer home. 2 practices for reconnecting with more-than-human nature. A sit spot. Find somewhere outdoors that you can sit quietly and safely, and where you can be alone. If you live near a wood or meadow or riverside, then find a sit spot in one of these places. Or find a sit spot very near where you live, even if it is in your garden or on a roof. Unless you can find a place nearby, you will find it too hard to visit and spend time there regularly. The practice is simple. Be there. Get to know that place at different times of day and night, in different weather conditions, in different seasons. Be aware of the 4 directions and the course the sun takes through the sky. Get to know the plants that grow there and the animals that live there, and those that pass by. Listen to the wind. Listen to the birds and learn to identify them from their songs. The tracker John Young points out that if you sit quietly for about 20 minutes, the animals around you will get used to you and cease to experience you as a source of alarm. You'll then be able to notice their alarm calls, especially those of birds. If you are in a garden, their sounds may alert you to a cat walking nearby. In the woods, the alarms will tell you when a person or another animal is moving through the woods and where they are. Through experiencing the life in your place, you will link your own life to the more-than-human world, and you will soon feel a greater sense of connection and belonging. The sun. Greet the sun in the morning, or if the weather is cloudy, turn towards the hidden sun. If your house or garden does not have an eastwards view, then acknowledge the daylight as it comes in through your window, flowing from the sun. During the daytime, when there is an opportunity, turn towards the sun. Do not look at it directly, but at sunrise or sunset, when it is not too bright, look at it directly and give thanks for its light, and thank the source of all light whose light shines through it. Ask for the divine splendor of the sun to illuminate your meditation.